back to the channel. So today we're starting out by heading over to the junkyard. So you may have noticed in pictures or videos that the front bumper on my tracker sits crooked. Like one side is like 2 inches higher than the other. So part of that reason, actually I think the entire reason, is because the frame mount, the body mount on the frame, or the body connection to the frame at the front, is bent really bad. So it was wrecked when I got it, and we did what we could to kind of pull it out relatively straight, but the bumper sits really crooked. So right now I'm on my way to the junkyard to try to get a cab mount from the junkyard to see if we can it's the piece that welds to the frame. Anyway, I'll show you when we get back to the tracker, but I'm gonna see if I can get that piece cut off a one in the junkyard and then graft it into my frame. So yeah, that's gonna be a little exciting. It'll be interesting. So yeah, stick around. I'll see if I can explain it better what's going on when I get back to the tracker. But so far, yeah, we're heading to the junkyard. So that's where I get most of my parts. Here we go. All right, we are back from the junkyard, and they didn't have the part I needed. Apparently the 96, I think, 95, 96 and newer bumpers are different, and so are these brackets right here. So I'll show you what's going on here. So this bracket, when the car was wrecked, you can see how it's all crinkled right in here. See how it's all bent in the front. This is what it's supposed to look like over here. See, this one's not crinkled. So that's what I'm dealing with. I've got the plastic bumper cover off. I've got the steel inner piece off, and I've got this piece of steel here. This piece of steel right here, it's got you can kind of see the bend in it. It's got a bend in it. So what I'm going to use that for is I'm going to use that right here. I'm going to come down and then it'll tip back, and I'll fill the top in up here to make my bumper. So that's where we're at. I got to figure out exactly how I'm going to make this work. I was thinking about actually using the stock inner bumper piece. I don't know if you can see that, the stock inner bumper piece here, and then just welding that to it. But I think I'm gonna go a little different because, all right, I figured it was time for an update. So, pulled out my cardboard, and I wanted to figure out what shape this bumper to go. I was gonna weld it to the stock piece, but I didn't really like that. So, this is gonna be the shape. So I'm gonna cut a piece out of, I got a piece of flat sheet over there, cut this out of. It's gonna sit in here like this. That's gonna be about the shape it sits. So the grill will still sit over the top of it like that. That's kind of my goal. Keep the stock grill, keep the stock look. And then this piece here, let's turn the camera a little bit so you can see it better. And this piece right here is going to bend. I'll cut some relief cuts in it, but it'll end up bending around this cardboard piece, or steel piece. I'll cut this out of steel, but it'll be bending around this, and then that'll be fit real nice around the front of the car. So that's where we're at. I gotta give you an update. Kind of excited about it because this is gonna look really cool. And that's my little helper. cut out. It wasn't quite long enough, so I've got to have. So I'm going to have to weld that piece onto there. No big deal. It'll look good. So there it is. And by the way, in case you're wondering, cutting things with a grinder is less than ideal, but it works. So here we are. Now we're going to start. Well, what I'll do is I'll fuse this together, this and that together, get that all cleaned up, and then we'll start taking this and taking the bumper and then forming the bumper around this piece here. So that's where we're at. Kind of exciting. So I'm probably going to clean up these edges before I do anything, so I don't cut my hands. Okay, so I got it full pieces made. I got it fused. I'll show you here. I got it fused together, so the little piece I got added on the end of it, welded both sides, and looks good. So ground out the weld, so it's nice. It'll be a nice, smooth, flat surface when it's done. And now it's time to fit it around, wrap that bumper around this shape right here. So it's going to be a bit of a challenge. I'm gonna cut some relief cuts in. I've got the bend points is here, 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 and then of course obviously the ends down here. I'm gonna get some relief cuts in that, and that'll allow me to pull it to fit this. So this is gonna fit just like the cardboard piece did, but this is gonna fit right underneath that grill, right in there. And that'll tuck that bumper in nice and tight. What I didn't like about the old bumper, the stock bumper, is it hung out long ways. This will allow the steel bumper here to tuck in real tight to the body. So and then I'll cut the corners out here, give me a good approach angle on stuff. So I'm kind of excited. Also, because cool. So let's see if that's enough. I made a really big mistake. I cut way too much out. Probably blade width of the grinder probably would have been enough. And I cut like an inch. So I will have to most likely I'll have to put that back in there. At least part of it. Awesome. Oh well. Hey, in the end, I'll make it look good. That's all that matters, right? Make all the mistakes you want. And if it looks good, it's golden. The thing about steel is you can just, put it back. Wood, yeah. You can kind of put it back. Enough welding, enough grinding. Yeah. Anyway, it's gonna get tacked in there. Grab my magnets, grab my clamps, and pull that up right to where it should be. starting to take shape. So I've got the first piece here welded in, and you see here where I put way too much gap in there. I'm going to show you here. See right here where I cut way too much out. I marked these to cut them out, but I figured I better do that piece before I cut those. This one and this one. And I'm really glad I didn't cut them, because I think I only need about a blade of a width of a cut grinder disc, thin set, whatever you want to call it. Only need a blade width cut through there to get that relief in there. Also, I think my line's in the wrong place according to my pattern, so I gotta go through that, but it's starting to take shape. All right, so I've gotten a little bit more done since the last update. So here I got this fully welded in. This piece here is fully welded in across here. And get over here so you can see a little better. So it's all welded in here and ground out. I kind of like the seamless look to where you can't see any of the welds or anything. And then I made some changes down here on the end. I decided, so what I was going to do is this end here I haven't finished yet. So I bent this one back, then I was just going to cut it off here. But instead, I decided to fold it back on that same line. Back on that line, and I folded it in, and then I cut it, and then I just welded it here. I cut it to fit, weld along here, and it's going to look really sweet. When I get this side done, I'll show you how it looks on this tire, because you really can't see it on that side by that tire, this side here. But I got to grind all this out. I got to touch up a little bit right here, grind this out, make sure that this looks all, I want it to look seamless. So you can't see any of the welds, so it looks like just one molded piece. That's kind of my goal. So I kind of like that look of it. So that's what I'm going for. And I cut relief out of here to where if there's just no way the tires could get into this bumper. So that's what I did there. And yeah, that's where we're at. After this, after I finish up all this here, I've got to figure out how to get it mounted on to the frame in here. I might just put some brackets that come out. It has to bolt on. It doesn't. You don't want it to be welded on there. You want to make sure it's bolted on. So I'll get all that figured out. So that's where we're at. Figured I'd give you an update, because I've been doing a lot of grinding and welding. So more grinding than anything. Lots of grinding. So because I wanted to make it look cool. So anyway, yep. Back side here, I stitch welded the back side here. So that's probably where most of the structure is. On the outside here, I actually ran a bead all the way along it. That's more for cosmetic, and then ground it out. So a little bit of strength comes from this one, but because I did penetrate both surfaces, most of the strength is actually going to come from these stitch welds on the back. But anyway, so yeah, I got these relief cuts here, and here, all smoothed out. By the time I'm done with this, you won't be able to tell there was any cuts in it. So it's gonna look sweet. Anyway, that's where we're at. More grinding. Well, probably more cutting first. I'm gonna get this piece folded down. Get the camera so you can see better. So here's this side here. Match that. That was the fold, and then I ran them parallel. I didn't like how far out this was, so then I just nipped it off right here. And then matching it on the other side. Okay. Falls down. Now just weld this, All right, so bumper cover shell thing, whatever you want to call it, is done. Now I've got to get the brackets made to be able to bolt it to the car. So turn this thing. That's how it turned out. Turned out really nice. So this has to be bolted on there somehow. But I've got a couple of the old bolt holes where the old bumper used to bolt on that I think I'm going to use. If I want to add additional brackets, I can. I want to at least get it bolted onto the car on those. So what I did is I took a piece of cardboard. I started with a piece like this, and then I just said, all right, cut it to that profile. So I cut it to that profile. So I left the straight edge there. I wanted to have this edge, and this angle. So I had the right angle here. And then I had to figure out this angle. Just kind of guess and check and cut and trim until I got it. I want to be able to weld it most of the way around so it's a good rigid bracket. So I got that made out, and then I came over here to the car. Show you here. And then I got my piece here. I wanted to get this to fit in here. So what I did, I figured out, okay, about how far out that bumper goes, which is about right there. We're gonna get it close, and then we're gonna weld it. Then not weld it, then we're gonna check everything. We'll bolt these on before we do anything. But that's about where that goes. And I just trimmed all the excess off of it. So it'll just sit in here just about like that. So when these come, these pieces here, they'll weld in here like this. And then anyway, they won't stay. But then I'll weld across the bottom and up the side. I'll put some gussets in here and gusset on the other side. So that'll make them really rigid. Unfortunately, the only steel I had to make it out of is this really thin stuff. So I gotta rethink that. But the old bumper was even thinner than that, so it might be okay. Anyway, yeah, that's where we're at. I'm gonna make a couple of these and get them kind of fitted, get a hole drilled in them, and I gotta level the bumper. So because this car's bent, it won't be the same on both sides. So what I'll do is I'll actually level these brackets where they go on there. I'm making one more of these templates, and I'll actually make different brackets for different sides because of how unlevel the car is. But they'll be pretty close, and then we'll bolt those on, and we'll be able to set the bumper on there and check fitment, make sure it's in the right place up and down, and make sure everything looks good before we weld everything in, and then mark everything. And yeah, so anyway, that's where we're at. It's just a long, tedious process. All right, so I got the brackets made. This one is for this side, and I got this one over here bolted on this side. It just mounts in the stock location. The metal's, it's a little thin. I think I'd like to have it about twice that thick, but it's what I got. So I'm gonna go ahead and bolt the one on this side here, and then we're gonna set the bumper on and see how it looks on here. Will actually be my first time being able to see it. See how the overall look is. Kind of been guessing so far. Here's approximately centered. All right, let's see how she looks. There we go. That's how it's gonna look on there. Get it all painted up black. It's gonna look really nice. I'm gonna have to do something. I may have to do a little triangle piece right here. or something. But I like my tire clearance here. Plenty of clearance. Then I get a new grill on there, and it'll look good. So now I'm gonna get those brackets all welded in and set. So liking the way the bumper's turning out. I think it's gonna look really good. All right, so there we have it. There's our bumper that is ready to paint and bolt on. So there we have it. I think it looks good. It's gonna look really good on there. I gotta get a new grill. I'll make the front end of this thing look really sharp. So it's a super light bumper because this is a super light car. I'm not putting tow hooks on the front of it like most bumpers do. I've actually got a tow hook down here. I'm gonna take and copy that and put one more on this other side over here. So I have one on each side. I wanted it to be light. It's a light vehicle. The old bumper that came off of it was pretty light. This actually doesn't add much weight to it. Adds a lot of look, adds a lot of approach angle for the tires coming up on rocks and things. But I think it looks really good. So I like the bumper. Good little fabrication project. Tell me what you think of it. Tell me down in the comments what you think. If you like this bumper, if you think you'd want to build something like this for your tracker, let me know. I have the capability to turn this in, make CAD prints of this, computer generated CAD prints of this bumper. I could make the whole thing in CAD if I wanted to. I won't do it if there's no interest in it, but if there's interest in this, I can do that. I'd be willing to sell prints of how to do it. If I get enough interest, I might be able to make some kits I can cut out, similar to some of the other prefabricated or kind of the weld your own bumper together things, the kits you can buy. I can do that. I have the capability to do it, but comment below, let me know what you think. If you want one, let me know. I'm not guaranteeing I'll make one for you, but if I get several people interested in it, I can throw it into CAD and generate some drawings so you can build them on your own, so that you can duplicate what I've done here. So anyway, thanks for watching.